shutting down the hometown beer.
Welcome to Shutting Down the Town Homebrew. This is my channel about homebrewing and beer. How would you like to ferment a keg of lager from grain to glass in 11 days? If you're interested, I'll tell you how I did it. Stay tuned. Well, my normal lager uses the W3470 yeast. I used the same yeast, except I fermented under pressure. I converted a Corny keg into a fermenter and used that to ferment under pressure at 12 psi. I was able to ferment at 20 degrees. My normal lager uses W3470 as well, but I have to ferment at 13 degrees to get a nice clean lager. But with my fast lager, I was able to get a clear lager like this, crystal clear. Nice clean flavors in 11 days. It took 3 days to carbonate it. That was after I added gelatin. And 6 days to ferment and 1 day to cool. That's a huge saving. My normal lager usually takes a good 6 weeks from fermenter to enough storage time to clear it. But using gelatin and high pressure ferment, I was able to get a good clear beer. Hello, this is my Corny keg setup that I've transferred into a high pressure fermenter. I have got glycol running through on the outside of the fermenter to keep it at the temperature I want using my grandfather chiller. That's my conical fermenter in the background, but don't worry about that, that's not in use. So this is the grandfather chiller. I have a Inkbird controller that is running off of the grandfather, and that temperature probe is going to the bottom of my keg fermenter there. It's currently reading 24 degrees Celsius. And then I have a glycol that's running out of the chiller through those EVA barrier tubings around the outside of my keg. I don't think it's doing a brilliant job because the keg's pretty thick and I'm losing a lot of coolness through the environment, but maybe later on I'm going to get a neoprene jacket or some sort of insulation to cover on the outside. I have a spunding valve that's connected to the gas inlet, and once that starts fermenting I'll release the pressure using that valve, but I've only just pitched the yeast. I was aiming for 24 degrees, 20 degrees, it's 24 at the moment, but I pitched the yeast anyway. I thought, hey, let's try it. I'm gonna aim to ferment this at around 1 bar, which is around 12 psi at 20 degrees. This is using W3470 yeast, which I usually use for my normal lagers, but I thought I'll try this under pressure. In the sample post there, I have removed the long dip tube and put a floating ball dip tube there, so when I go to sample from the keg, it's sampling from the top. So this is new. I haven't tried pressure fermenting before, so I thought I'll try using a keg. And I saw on a YouTube video from Short Circuited Brewers about using the Inkbird controller for your grandfather chiller. So I thought I'll try that. And this is my setup. Hello, it's day 1, about 16 hours into the ferment. You can see we're bubbling.
pressure is at 12 psi. Temperature is 19.2, so everything looks like it's doing what it should be doing, which is good. And we're bubbling along, so that's a good sign.
Well, this is my lager that's been lagering for about 6 weeks. Yeah, look how clear that is, nice and clear, and a good head retention. Using W3470, very clean, maybe a smidge estery. I find this is my fast lager. The head retention's not as good. I'm just wondering whether that's because of the gelatin. It certainly looks carved up. They both look clear. If you can probably see my thumb. They're both clear. That the lager, traditional lager, which is on the left, is more clearer. But this fast lager has only been 10 days since I brewed it. So it's cleared up all right. Yeah, maybe another day of carbonating and then it might be all right. It does have a head, but it doesn't last as good as my lager. Oh, but it is clean. I have to say the pressure ferment at 20 degrees does produce a clean beer. Certainly tastes good. My lager that's been in the keg for 6 weeks tastes a little bit more carbonated, maybe slightly estery, whereas this one probably needs another day of carbonating, to be honest. I think I'd be comfortable to say I could brew this fast lager in 11 days, because I reckon another day and that would be bang on for carb. But that is really clean. And the gelatin has really cleared it up. It's been a nice experiment. I actually think I prefer the flavor of my high pressure just because it's more clean, just slightly less estery, even though the W3470 is not really an estery high ester lager. It's just, you'd notice the difference. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm going to persist with that. I think next time, rather than using gelatin though, I think that's reduced my head retention a bit. I think I might try and filter it rather than using gelatin. But it'll be interesting to see what it's like tomorrow. I reckon tomorrow, with another day of carbonating, because I'm not a believer of forced carb. Obviously a high pressure ferment, this was already partly carbonated, and it's only been 2 days under 12 psi. So to produce that in 2 days of carbonating is pretty good. So it was about 5 days of fermenting and a day to chill down, and I put gelatin in, and it's been 48 hours since I put gelatin in and carved the beer. So it must have been 6 days of fermenting. Yeah, so it's been 10 days overall. But yeah, I'm happy with the flavor. Just my traditional lager does look better. It looks clearer and it's got a better head. But yeah, certainly nothing wrong with this one at all. But yeah, I think in a pinch, if you want a lager to be brewed quickly, so if you had a party in 2 weeks, I think this approach would be something you could do. Oh yes, we're now day 11. It's the day after I tasted it yesterday. Look at that. My fast lager's got a nice head on it now. That extra day of carb made all the difference. It's quite clear if we get the light there, look. So my final thoughts on this procedure. I didn't invent it. A lot of people have done this on YouTube before, but I thought I would give it a try and try it for myself, and I can say it does work. I do prefer the normal lagering though. Just I like the beer that comes out of lagering. I thought the head was better on my normal lager, more clearer. But to be honest, I actually really do like the flavour of this. It's nice and clean. And if you're in a hurry for beer, well, if you 2 weeks you want beer, a good lager, that procedure is all right. It's worth it. But there are other benefits too. I can carbonate this beer in 3 days because under pressure ferment, it's already half carbonated. So that's $1 saving with CO2, and it's also quicker to carb. You're able to ferment faster at higher temperatures because under pressure the yeast will produce less esters. That's another benefit as well. But I think I do prefer the normal lagering. But yeah, as I said, if you're in a hurry, I certainly would recommend doing what I've done, and I think it works. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with that. If you like this channel and you want to see further videos, give a thumbs up and please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And see you next time. Cheers.